First thing I'm going to do is make a big pot of lobster corn chowder. It's kind of corn chowder with the volume turned up. What I've done is I've gotten 6 cooked lobsters. I mean, they're complicated enough to get the meat out without having to deal with those big pots of steaming water and screaming lobsters. Okay, so that's the meat from 6 lobsters. I'm just going to put it aside and then put it in after I make the stock. The next thing is the corn. Can't make lobster corn chowder without corn. So I've got 5 ears of corn. This is the 5th. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the kernels right off the cob. And that's pretty easy. And I'm going to use the shells of the lobsters and the corn husks to make the stock. Okay. And in my biggest pot you can possibly find, I have 2 cups of onions that I've been sauteing in some butter and olive oil, just beginning to brown. So the first thing is half a cup of cream sherry. Just has that kind of sweetness that lobster and corn have, and it really is sort of classic with lobster soup. So delicious. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of paprika, which is basically ground red pepper. It just has wonderful flavor, and it also has great color. That's 1 and 2. And just cook that for about a minute until it all blends together. I love the smell of the onions and sherry. Okay, next, 8 cups of milk and 4 cups of cream. And 2 cups of white wine. Remember, always use a wine that you would drink. You don't want bad wine in your stock. You'll have bad stock. Okay, and then the lobster shells and corn. Just this entire thing's gonna go in, and it's just gonna flavor the stock so beautifully. No spoon. This is why you need a big pot for it. And all the juices from the lobster, everything goes right in. Lid on, 30 minutes, we're gonna have great stock. Okay, so I've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil just heating away in the pan. I'm going to put the bacon in. And what that's going to do is going to render some of the fat out of the bacon and cook it for about 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to take it all out with a slotted spoon. I'm going to put the bacon back into the soup later after it's cooked. And it'll still be crisp and flavorful. It won't sort of melt into the soup. And then I've got all that wonderful bacon fat that I can cook the vegetables in. How bad can that be? Okay, so I'm going to add all the potatoes, 4 cups of potatoes, lots of potatoes, 3 cups of onions, now I'll get browned and caramelized flavor, and 4 cups of chopped celery. Okay, and all the corn, add this to what I'm sauteing in the soup. So these are all the vegetables, and then later I'm going to add the stock. Big pot of stock. I'm just going to strain it right here. You just want to make sure you get every bit of the stock. Let it drain for a minute. So what I've done is really get all the flavor I can possibly get out of all the corn and all the lobster. So this stock is going to go right into the soup. It's going to cook for about 15 minutes. This just smells incredible. You can really smell the sherry and lobster, corn, all the vegetables. I'm just going to add a few things to make it really chunky. It's going to be delicious. All the lobster that I had, I cut up in big bite-sized pieces. I just love that it's so chunky. And the bacon that I cooked off in order to start the soup. And just to add the perfect finish, chopped chives. Gives it a little spark. This is my idea of lobster corn chowder.